The gruesome murders of Rob Reiner and his wife have shocked not only Hollywood but the whole world. And the case that his son was already charged with their murders, and the circumstances are strange to say the least. And I'm going to explore in this video one of them that makes no sense. In case you don't know, Rob Reiner was a legendary figure in cinema. Well, he was the director of When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride, Stand By Me, Misery, A Few Good Men, This Is Spinal Tap. I mean, the guy was a bona fide legend. He was known, on one hand, for being a great director, I have to say. And on the other hand, well, he was well known for being one of Donald Trump's biggest haters. Maybe I will dedicate a video to that. But right now I want to talk about what happened here. What happened here, and I want to address the fact that that party that they attended the night before at Conan O'Brien, in which there was a discussion, there was a loud discussion. Nick Reiner was behaving really erratically, asking people, "What is your name? What is your last name? Are you famous?" in a really strange way. At the same time, this was a tuxedo level party, and Nick was basically in a hoodie and behaving this way. And they got in an argument, the father and son at the party. It got so bad and loud that someone wanted to call the police to report it. An insider told the Daily Mail Friday. But Conan stepped in and said, "It's my house, my party. I am not calling the police." He talked them out of calling the police. And we know that Nick Reiner just stormed out of the party, not seen again that night. The day after that, on Sunday, it was this massage therapist who went to the Reiner's house. She rang the bell. No, she got no answer. It was really odd. Then she called Rob Reiner's daughter, who lives nearby. She also called her father, her mother, got no response. So she decided to go to the house with a roommate, and that's when she discovered her father's body, which was full of stab wounds. She did not see her mother at that moment, but when they called 911, when they called the police officers, eventually they found Rob Reiner's wife, a body as well. For some reason, they knew almost immediately, or had a suspicion almost immediately, that Nick Reiner had something to do with this. He was apprehended that night without any sort of it was not an eventual apprehension, and essentially they have already confirmed that he was the one. But I want to ask something regarding this, reported by TMZ. You know that the thing that TMZ reports, we have to take this with a grain of salt. But take a look at this. Nick Reiner had been diagnosed with schizophrenia. And the meds that he had been given in the last month had made him really erratic. Meds had made him dangerous. He had recently received care at a Los Angeles-based rehab facility that specializes in mental illness and substance abuse. By the way, on the substance abuse, Nick Reiner had been in and out of rehab between 17 and 18 times since he was 15 years old. So, yeah, he had a lot of access to drugs, and a lot of access that he also stole money from his parents to buy drugs, to escorts, to the whole thing. And I'm going to talk about the guest house in a minute. So we are told that facility where Nick Reiner was being treated, charges $70,000 a month. $70,000 a month. and lots of rich, powerful parents send their troubled kids there. Our sources say 3 to 4 weeks before the murders, doctors changed his meds and he became even more erratic. Our sources say doctors were trying to adjust the medications so Nick stabilized, but it wasn't working. The family in general wants to distance from, nobody wants to do anything with him. He is being held without bail, and essentially it seems like, okay, he was the one who did it, but according to this is a high probability that he's not going to go to jail. He should go to an institution. In all cases, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. But my question is, if this facility charged $70,000 a month, we have that. Let's take that with a grain of salt. But let's say that was true for a minute. And Nick Reiner had been in and out of rehab 17 times, and there were all these problems and troubles with, in general, with his behavior. He had destroyed the guest house he was living in at his parents' house more than once. And all these problems and all that Rob Reiner could have done for him in this $70,000 a month facility. My question is, if there are all these problems with him, with Nick Reiner, what was he doing with his parents or at his parents' home? How could they, Rob Reiner was 77 years old. How could they take care of him 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, and pretend to take him to this, upscale parties and stuff? I guess that they didn't want to leave him alone at the house. But couldn't a $70,000 a month facility, serve as 24/7, I would say surveillance or hold him in there? It's be some kind of a rehab hotel. Tie him to the bed, something like that. I'm trying to paraphrase here. I don't know what would be the worst in here, but you understand what I'm saying. If this guy was so dangerous in so many ways, and I'm sure that both Rob Reiner and his wife understood how dangerous he was, how come they didn't, commit him to somewhere that they could take care of him? Or maybe they didn't want the stigma. Oh, my son is not crazy. He is okay. That could happen. That could be that would be one of the explanations. They didn't want to say, oh, I don't want my people talking about my son being in this. But at the same time, it is my understanding that these facilities have very strict privacy protocols. It is obvious, right? If you're a celebrity, if you're famous, you want to be able to go in and out in a very private way with nobody finding out. If you're there, that should be a possibility. That absolutely should be a possibility. So what I see in this case, what I see is strange in this, which is really tragic, is how come nobody saw that this could have happened. And you see that it's not like Nick Reiner was just shut off in his room, or he nobody saw him. No, he attended parties. He wasn't public. His father made sure to just take him with him to these parties, or who knows, wherever they went. People must have noticed this, and people must have told Reiner, your son is not well, and much less right now. And so this is horrific. And by the way, I might address right now what Trump said. You know that Trump made this Truth Social post, a very damning Truth Social post. People were saying, "Oh, no person in the right is gonna say anything bad about Rob Reiner," and Trump went full. He unleashed on the guy. I said that was in bad taste. I still think it was in bad taste. But a lot of people were saying that Trump was justified, quote unquote, on saying that because, well, the way that Rob Reiner acted so many times. Here, found it. Let me copy and paste this so I can show this to you. I was not expecting to talk about this. Maybe we can address this on this same video. Okay. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. As if Trump derangement syndrome, that Rob Reiner definitely had, but it did not kill him directly, but let me talk about that in a minute. Sometimes referred to as TDS, he was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. Well, at least he said rest in peace. Yeah, I think it was this in bad taste. But one thing that I did not know, and I found out when I was doing the research of the whole case, is that, you know, the having Trump derangement syndrome for Rob Reiner, it was an understatement. That guy really hated Trump with all his guts. Again, I disagree with this, but I can understand the sentiment behind this. After I know that Rob Reiner was, anti-Trump, but I didn't know the extent of it. Now, having said that, I want to ask you the question, because this is a guy, Rob Reiner was a guy who even under the Obama administration, with the Obama administration, tried to make all sorts of things to make sure that Trump won't become president of the United States. And then he did all his power to make Trump's life as miserable as possible. And yeah, he essentially dedicated the last 10 years of his life to destroy Trump in one way or another. The question that I want to ask you, my lovely body language buddies, is what do you think would have happened? What do you think would have been the outcome if Rob Reiner, instead of spending the last 10 years trying to destroy Trump, maybe he could have been, the usual tweet here and there, activist here and there, video here and there, interview here and there, but dedicate that energy into his family and into his son? What do you think would have happened? I mean, it is obvious that this was a strain in his family. It's obvious that this was something that infected his family as well. I was looking at his daughter's Instagram. She was posting we had a nice vacation on such and such. Too bad we have the president that we have. Like I said, what does it have to do with your vacation? How does Trump prevent you from having a vacation? But again, that is insanity. That is beyond the point. Again, I think that maybe this was Rob Reiner trying to avoid a stigma of committing his son to a psych ward, because that's definitely where he belonged. While, he got through all the demons that he had, and they decided to keep him at the guest house. And sadly, this is what happened as a result. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss.